Welcome to Convicted Hearts. I'm Jen Magana with Convicted Heart, and if you have a convicted heart, you're in the right place. Today I'm here with Laura. She's got her brother Tamaris on the phone. Do you mind if you go ahead and let Tamaris introduce herself?
Tamaris, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tamaris Johnson. I've been incarcerated now since I was 15 years old. I'm 41 now. It's been hard. Made a lot of struggles. Made a lot of changes. It's hard up in here. Just know that. And I don't know, man. Sometimes the person up in here would lose hope.
Tell them how long you were sentenced.
It's the people out there in our lives that give us the ability to keep going, even when we want to give up. And that's a fact.
Tell them how long you were sentenced, Tamaris.
I got 29 years to life at 15.
At 15?
Yeah. And I gave him 26 already.
Wow. Well, we're rooting for you, Tamaris. You know, it's nice to meet you, and keep your head up. Thank
you for it. I thank you for your for the struggle that you putting forth, the fight that you putting forth, and everybody else out there. That's right. The thing that gives us the hope that we're looking for and that we strive for in this environment.
That's right.
Because like I said, it's easy for us to just give up. It's real easy.
Oh, I believe it.
But
I believe it.
All right, I'm gonna give you to your brother.
I just think that's great that he could, you know, people can hear his voice and know what's going on. I love the fight that I see in you fighting for your brother. Like,
yeah, it took some time because he had a wife that he put all his trust in that wasn't a fighter. So I stepped in kind of late, but we're gonna get it.
That's right. Yeah, I noticed that you really are getting his story out there, and I can't imagine, like, if we can just backtrack a little bit, give people some context to the story. He has been incarcerated since he was 15. Is that right?
Yeah, he's done 26 years. The story of what kind of happened is he raised himself. My husband and all their siblings, they raised themselves. Their mom was an active addict when they were young. So they fought to survive, you know, find their food, find their thing, and, you know, product of your environment in a sense, you know.
Right.
No help, you know, towards he's Black. There wasn't a lot of help. Yes. They judged you. They looked at you. They tried to get you instead of help you. So when he was 15, a rival person, he's no longer affiliated or nothing. He wasn't even fully affiliated then. But his family was. So when he got arrested, they automatically put in his words.
Of course.
And he was 15. So when they got him, it was kind of, I'll get you before you get me. And his shot was better than the other man's shot. And in a way, it was self-defense, and the system don't see no self-defense in any of that. So,
you know, it's strange that you say it like that, because I actually have a friend who's incarcerated for almost, it sounds nearly the same way you explained this, and it's sort of the same sentence. And it's just mind-blowing to think that he was 15. In your case, your brother is 15 years old. That's a child in my eyes.
Yeah, he's never even got the chance to like show that he could be an adult, you know. I can remember as a child messing up, and I didn't do nothing in the sense of what he did, but I can remember fighting in school. Yeah. And I can remember all that, like, and some of what he's dealing with now is not being able to speak. You guys have, not you as in you guys, but they have them going to hearings and not hearing them out and stuff. So that's part of why he's not even being let go.
Wow. So 26 years he's been in so far?
26.
Oh, goodness. I bet he has definitely experienced some trauma. and been through
Yeah, he has a lot of trauma, but he learned to interpret his anger because as a child he was a very angry child. I don't know if you want me to say it, but on my TikTok he says a little of his story.
Right.
He dropped out of school in 5th grade and never had punishment for it. So it caused him to have anger. So throughout the years, the programs, everything that he's been through in there, they can rehabilitate in there. And that's part of what people are not realizing. They're not giving them a chance. They think they mess up and they don't deserve a chance at life, and they do.
Yes.
A lot of them change. A lot of it's in your mindset and the strength you want to change, you know? Yes, there is people that have returned. I mean, there's people that return to the hospital every day and you guys still feed them medication.
Yeah.
But they deserve a chance. This was his first strike and he got life. He's had like other little things like theft or stuff like that, but nothing real violent.
Right.
And he got life.
That's just mind-blowing. Has he had a chance to go before parole board at all?
He went before board one time, but it was like COVID-ish. So I would say it didn't count fully, honestly, because during that, they weren't even hearing people at all. Like you were being heard, but not heard really. They were more focused on the COVID stuff. And even then, they were putting in prison, they were putting COVID people with non-COVID people, like in the prison system to kill them off.
That part. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
same thing, you know, it's kind of a wild rabbit hole to go down into, but I have heard many stories that are very much like that.
They have my brother-in-law right now in the county. And it kind of deals with what we're going with the integration. They got him. There's only a couple Black people, I think 2 on the level that he's in, with a whole bunch of dropouts. Now, I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. And they're angry, you know, they're in there angry, and it's just him. He hasn't been in a fight since 2016 until they put him in an area with all Hispanics. Nothing wrong, but in the prison system, it's like, you know, and he got in his first fight since 2016 in county jail because of the integration that they put him in.
Yeah, people that watch this channel are, most of them, I would say, are familiar with what's going on. I'm just now trying to catch on to what that's all about. I'm glad you brought that up. Integration they're doing. What is your understanding of that? As a family?
I feel like they've been doing it for years, but now that we're fighting harder, like that they've always had people fighting, but not as hard as the last, I would say, 10 years, you know? So with us fighting and there becoming lawsuits they're doing integration more to retaliate, and it's wrong. Because CDCR does have issues that they need to come to light, that they're doing wrong to our people. Like you stated to me earlier one time, that they're human.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And by putting them with people that are in there angry, even if they didn't politic, right? Putting them in there with other angry inmates that don't accept them or something, that's dangerous. You're just looking, you're in other words, like if we were on the streets and got in trouble, you're conspiracy murder.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That, to me, that's the way I see it, is that CDCR is accepting that, and by accepting it, you're co-conspiracy against it to start it. That's what we would be charged with if we were out here doing something like that. So like, to me, I look at it, especially knowing that my brother-in-law hasn't been in any fight since 2016, and now you guys did this to him, and who knows if that write-up's gonna go back with him to prison, because they're sending him back. They had him here for 6 months for what? and didn't even listen to him. They had him in the county jail after doing 26 years. You bring him back to county jail facing right now. So with the habeas corpus, it's like a hearing, like a board hearing, but you're in court. You're actually in front of like the actual judge, not just the board. And it gives them a chance to hear you at wrongful sentencing and stuff. So, but he didn't even get to say hi to the judge. He got in and then was right out. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And it's a hearing. They kept pushing it off. And then bam, next thing he's being told when he walks in the courtroom is, oh, we're pushing it back to CDCR.
Wow. That's got to be so discouraging for him, you know?
It is, but I feel like what was more discouraging on his part was the things that they go through, you know, but not saying all wives, because I see some loyal fighting wives, but the person he put his all into gave up on him and cheated and got pregnant. I think that is the number one thing that set him back. But he knows that when he goes back to prison, the one thing I'll do a comparison real quick with county and prison. He's never been in county till now, right? They're making him in the county jail wait to get lotion because he has not eczema, but it's like it from valley fever. I know a lot of you guys know of valley fever if you're from California.
Yeah, a lot of
so it makes your skin a lot drier than people without. So they make him wait for it after the shower. They make there's no law library for them in the county jail. So that's the one thing he said he couldn't wait to get back to was the law library so that he could fight harder again. Right. He doesn't know when he'll be transferred back, but yeah, that's one of the plus. And then, you know, he's able to work in prison and he's not able to work in the county jail. So that's another thing. He's been in the dog program and all that.
Okay. So. Yeah, I've heard bits and pieces of that in the past, but not too much.
The dog program, it actually can help shorten their time. When COVID visits first opened back up after COVID, got his visits taken because they said he hugged his girl too long or something, which is so wrong, but whatever. And it kind of, he's fighting it right now to get back into the dog program, but he's already certified in all his trainings and stuff. Just that one visit thing messed him up. It's not like he was caught doing, you know, transferring or whatever. It was all just hugging too long.
Yeah,
and
right up, like that maybe don't have someone they care about incarcerated. That is how strict and how much of a fine line we come down to during visiting. I mean, it can be literally like 2 seconds too long of a hug and your visit can be canceled. Like you can.
Yep. And then that counts against you on everything else. Board, any programs you're in. Yep.
And he was participating in programs during the time. So that.
Yep. He was in the dog program. Yep. Yeah. So he fighting it to go back to the dog program because it was just that visit messed it all up.
I'm so sorry to hear that, and then also to hear about his situation with the wife or ex-wife. That's very.
It's okay, you know. This is one thing. I don't mean to push Christian on anybody, but he's Muslim. But one thing I always said is the one upstairs might have stopped him from getting out because he could have went out there and dealt with that and then ended up in a worse situation. And that's what I told him. And when I told him like that, it like brought a lot of encouragement to him. He was like, you know what? Because this did all happen right when I got to county. He was like, so that could have been God stopping me from who knows what would have happened if I was out and went out there and stuck by myself.
Mm-hmm. See, that's a similar way that I would have looked at it as well. I'm a Christian as well, so that's an encouraging word that you shared with him. What effect has it had on your family?
My mother-in-law, oh, I'm gonna start crying.
So sorry.
My mother-in-law's in stage 5 kidney failure, and she's sober. She's been sober for 4 years,
God.
and maybe a little longer than 4 years, but she hasn't had all her kids together in 26 years. And we don't know how long we have left with her, and she can't hug her son. So I feel like that is one of the biggest fights we're going through right now. In the longest term, I feel like a lot of what it has done is blame. There was a lot of blame in the family. There was a lot of discouragement. And some of that is the police interrogated my brother for 24 hours with no parent present.
At
When,
15 years old.
at 15 years old. So that brought down a lot of discouragement in my family. Like, I hate to pull the race card again, but they feel like, would they have done it if he was white?
Right. Yeah.
Would they have questioned him like that if he was white? They would have done it to they would have questioned a Hispanic, Black, Asian, but would they have done it if he was white? And it's brought a lot of hurt and anger towards the family. Like, you didn't even give him a chance. Yeah, everybody that was involved, they all had their parents except my brother. There were other people present, and they put it all on my brother. And after hours and hours and hours and hours of being interrogated, what are you going to do at 15?
I think if anybody would eventually wear down, like the mental part of it alone.
Yeah. So I would say a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame going in like his brothers and sisters. I feel like they fault themselves because they're older than him. The sister is younger, but the brothers, they're older.
Okay.
So I feel like there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of fault. Like, my husband at the time, he was taking care of them, but he was having to find a way to provide. My husband is 4 years older, so he was having to find a way to provide for them. And so he blamed himself. The older brother blames himself, and it's just a lot of blame. Like, and right now I think it's the fact they got to see him. My husband's a felon, so he doesn't get to see him when he's in prison.
Yeah.
So knowing that you guys brought him out here was like a tease.
Oh, that hurts.
Just to send him right back. So I really feel like there's a lot of blame, and it's not right. Like, he knows what he did. You know what I mean? He knows what he did is wrong. Now he's an adult.
Yeah.
So he deserved a chance. Family wise, I would say, even like with my kids, they fell in love with him through the phone. And they're always like, oh, my kids are young. They're like, can he come to my birthday? And what do I tell him? No. And then he's like, but he tells them, like, I'm going to come home. And he is, because we going to fight hard. But it's just, the biggest thing is blame, and my mother-in-law dying. So that's one thing we're fighting with the courts, is to tell them, like, let her have them all together before she passes. 26 years is enough time.
It's a long time. And that's a long time in the state of California. For those that are going to catch this that maybe aren't, in the state of California, prison politics is no joke. I really don't get too involved into all that, but I think it matters right now because of what you mentioned with the integration that's taking place, and race really does play a huge part. And
it does, because like, even if they don't politic gang related, right? Say they don't politic, you don't know if they politic race related.
Yeah.
You know, that all these people are coming from all over, and you guys are moving some from this town all the way down south, and then some from this town all the way up north. Like, what is that doing?
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Right. It's scary.
It is scary. It's very scary. And I don't see how they don't see it being scary for the COs. I don't, it's not just on our loved ones too, because there is some good COs out there, you know?
And I think that definitely poses a risk for them as well.
Yeah. It poses a big risk. Like, if anybody doesn't know, there is a protest on June 11th at the Capitol for the integration, but it is a big risk. He's applying for a commutation. And a lady, I don't know if she's a paralegal or if she's just going to school, I don't know, but she told me to get signatures to put with the commutation. So that's our biggest thing.
So there is a petition that people can sign, is that right?
Yes, it is. It is urge Governor Newsom to accept the commutation or something along those lines. It's in my TikTok.
Yeah, I'll share it to the description when this goes out so people can go ahead and sign that.
You are such an angel.
Oh, so are you, Laura. It means something to me when I see, you know, I told you a little bit of my story, you know, with a family incarcerated as well. When I see another family member go out of their way to be like, hey, my loved one is still alive and breathing, like, and deserves to be heard.
I was with somebody that the way I met my spouse is I was with somebody who was not healthy for me, that was incarcerated with my brother-in-law, and I fought for him too. I was all over Instagram with him. A lot of people may know me from him, but and then I stopped for a while, and then my brother-in-law was like, I really need you, Laura, because I got somebody out from serving life before. I fought for them to get out.
Wow.
And they got out, and sadly they returned. Like I said, there is some that return, but those are the ones that didn't strive.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't strive on the inside to make a change, that's on you. But you can strive and make a difference. They do rehabilitate on the inside.
I like that.
They do. They do. And you know, they like I said, everyone's different. It's just like cancer. I hate to say it like this. Cancer can kill some and then save others.
Yeah.
Kids can hurt a mom during birth, and then some, they saved your life. My kids saved my life. Yeah. So it could go either way with the system, but the system is very corrupt on how they treat our loved ones.
I agree. And it's always, I always find myself in a position of even being fearful sometimes, like, do I say what's going on, or is it too much? Is it going to bring him some heat if I put this out there? It's such a fine line we walk as a family member to someone.
But I feel like it's the time in life where we got to put it all on the plate of what they're going through, because there's so many people out here that are so for our system, that are fighting like, oh yeah, this, but they don't really realize what's going on the inside. So it's now for us to say what they're doing. It's time for us to speak up and not be afraid. That's what they wanted, I think, for many years, is us to fear the system. Yeah. And now that we're not, the system's starting to get scared because we're no longer afraid of them.
Yeah, I have noticed the same. Like, there's definitely resistance, you know, from families now that's coming and standing up and being like, no, this is not okay. Like, we're going to make some noise. So, you know, kudos to those that are doing that, because, you know, we have to speak for our loved ones because they can't always speak for themselves. Look, you said they gave him 2 minutes in a courtroom and wouldn't even let him speak. So
yeah.
Those
they didn't hear him at all. And one lawyer told us, there's a big chance he could get out because this is a hearing of wrongful, a lot of people are getting out on a habeas corpus. So I was like, okay, we'll wait to say, to raise the money until after, and then bam, didn't even hear him. On my TikTok, did you watch the video where it was saying empathy?
Yes.
That was a letter to the judge. That's what he wanted to read to the judge.
I like that. Okay. I'll definitely share that, giving you and him credit on that for sure, because I think empathy is something that not everybody has. So
No.
to display that says a lot about his character. And that's important when considering these things, right?
That's why he wanted it to be heard. That was his biggest thing. Like, he was reading it to me all night, the night before court. He was like, let me read this so I got it right. And then he just got shot down. Like, he was like, wow. When he walked in there and seen her talking to the DA, the public defender that they gave him, talking to the DA before he can even speak, he like, I just knew.
Yeah.
Like, you're not talking to me, but you're in there talking to the DA.
Yeah, you're already wrapping it up at that point,
That's why they say, oh, we'll appoint you somebody. Instead of giving you a list of people for you to pick out of, we're just going to appoint you someone. Because y'all know what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep them in and not help them out. So we got to fight to get them out.
You're right. And I think that's, not that for myself, you know what I mean? Of course, I'm going to reach out to someone who I think has a story that is encouraging, that has some substance behind it. And seeing that your brother-in-law, was doing the programs, incarcerated at the age of 15, was questioned without a parent present for how many hours?
24.
Okay, so these are the kind of stories that people need to stop, pay attention to, and make some noise about. And that's why we're going to
share 5 different prisons in 26 years.
My goodness. In the state of California. That says a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like hopping homes as a kid, You can't even let them get comfortable one place because you're trying to move them right when they get comfortable.
Right. Well, we're definitely going to follow along. I would like to do a part 2 and follow up with you.
We'll give it a couple months because we're gonna try to get him back in for the board.
Yes, and
because that's what they say they're doing. I don't, we can't listen to them all the time.
Yeah, I hear you. We're definitely going to share that petition here as well. But
I appreciate everything you're doing to get our voices out. I really do.
You as well. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Anybody who's fighting for their loved one, my prayers are with you and your loved one. And anybody that doesn't know how to fight, there's a couple programs on Facebook and TikTok that will help you, that can give you advice. They've been fighting this fight for years, and their voices are now heard. Where I met you, can I say where I met you? We Are Their Voice is a very, very strong one.
And I'll link the description as well.
Yeah, We Are Their Voice is an amazing. The lady that fights hard with that group right there, she's tough. And if you have questions, she will look it up for you or find somebody. Hey, you reach out to this person and they'll help you. She's very knowledgeable. I appreciate everything you are doing, ma'am. And once again, my prayers are with all you loved ones.
Thank you. And you as well, Laura. We'll talk
you too.
Everybody remember, always keep your heart convicted.
Yeah.